gonna update my stream name here. Hang on.
What are those, oh, I can't remember. They're like giant oranges. You have them for breakfast.
Grapefruit.
Thank you.
So bitter, but I love it.
I bet you do.
What's wrong with liking grapefruits?
1 second.
Never actually had a grapefruit.
Kind of sad, actually.
I like lemon. Like, I would eat a lemon by itself, so I probably wouldn't mind grapefruit.
Yeah, I've eaten lemons and limes by themselves. They're kind of weird. I can't really taste much sour anymore. Because, when I was a kid, one of my friends went to, I don't know, it was like candy factory or something, and he got malic acid, which is like the base for all the sour stuff. He brought it, and he gave me some, and I thought it was like sugar or something because it was just a white powder, so I ate it. Didn't taste anything for like 2 months, and the sour never came back. So
That sounds horrifying.
it was a lot of fun.
I'm shocked that they let him get that stuff.
I don't think he was legally allowed to take it.
That's brilliant.
You were secretly like my cat. He can't taste anything, but that's for a different reason. We were getting a pool made, and he just sort of wandered up and was like, "This looks like water. I'm gonna drink it." It was not water.
Oh God.
Just as a hint, don't drink hydrochloric acid. Not good for you.
Yeah, well,
I've heard
when
it.
it gets to your stomach, you're fine.
I heard it tastes pretty good.
I'll have to try it.
That's not true.
What am I about to watch?
Don't try it. Something to watch on YouTube. All right. So to recap, just kind of the broader perspective of where you are at. Onderon, home of Whisper Base, which you took over from Moff Dardano's forces, and managed to capture a few things, among them some speeder bikes and a couple of ATSTs and a couple of Imperial shuttles. But as of yet, you don't have any other space-faring vehicles. The other piece to the puzzle was that you might be able um, to sort of um, jam some outgoing communications for a little while by detonating a Ferris asteroid in close orbit to the sun, um, and could help ferret out the listening station. But now that you sort of are, set to rendezvous with the ship, that seems to be sort of the main thrust of your plan. So that kind of makes sense to everybody right now.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay. Okay. Let me bring up my notes here really quick. I'm a little behind. Yep, that's kind of what this is all about.
We're missing half the plan. I think that's just we didn't ever get around to making the second half.
Well, who needs a second half of a plan?
We're on the ship. What do we do on the ship?
Yeah,
We'll just hide in boxes.
Go bitches get money.
If there was a second half to the plan, we won't get to it.
Who needs plans?
We'll do it live.
Let's see. Just checking my notes here.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Remind me to use you as a shield.
Me?
Yes.
I'm small and I take pictures.
I'm smaller.
I take pictures.
But I like my life more than you.
some amazing pictures of inside a box. Some starship walls.
Well, yeah, they're. I mean, they're, they're a
Here
bit
we
rough
have an
around the edges, but
imperial cargo hold.
All right, you people are the worst.
We love you too, Matt.
All right. So you get aboard something a transport called the Totale, um, and you've got the time when it's set to leave. Literally, you're just shoving yourselves into crates and getting loaded on. Is that the plan?
We put food and
Um,
water inside the boxes, so just in case.
I'm
just a
gonna bring a
moment before
crowbar
we
with me if we're doing that.
hop on there. I'll make sure I have some sim packs. Because I don't think I got a chance to buy those earlier. Where's money stored in here?
Character.
I feel like
yeah, that was something we were gonna talk about, I think, and then we never did. Money.
Yeah. If you don't have any, you don't have any. It's just the way of
Also,
things.
I mean, I could write 300,000 if you want me to.
Ah, you just don't have any. That's cool.
which seems to
It's
be fine
under
anyway.
XP.
Yeah, I found it.
I have 450 out of zero. I want.
You saying you don't know how much you have?
I do,
Okay.
but I want more.
Of course you do.
Apparently have 720.
Okay.
Yeah, because we went dress shopping. Or out.
I only have 450. Why do I have? Why am I poor?
Because you're only a photographer. You made poor life choices in your education.
450 is
I
is pretty standard for kind of like starting out. So
I don't remember where I have the
Well,
book
you're a
stored.
robot. I don't think you're allowed to have money.
I have 450 money.
are you looking to?
Like a slave.
What?
Robots are kind of like slaves. I'm not sure they're allowed money.
No. I have money.
Are you looking to acquire stim packs?
Yes, so that people don't go down.
So under handouts, under equipment, there's gear that tells you
Yeah.
where to get
It's
stuff.
got prices.
It's got prices. It doesn't have descriptions, but it's got prices.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
buy a breath mask slash respirator.
Um,
Just in case there's some water in the spaceship.
Yeah,
Ooh, we have spacesuits. That's probably not a terrible idea.
probably a good idea.
I'm gonna buy 3 stim packs and an emergency repair patch, if that's alright.
yeah. I'm just looking up the rarity rules here really quick. I always forget these.
This game must be riveting to anybody that watches.
Hey, we're trying, all right?
We totally have our shit together.
We
Do you
totally
guys
do.
wanna pool all your money together to buy me some cybernet brain implants?
No.
No,
I
because
don't
they
think
love
our
the
money
slave.
combined is enough for that.
Well, what about a single prosthetic replacement organ?
Depends
Which
which
would
one
be
you
like
want.
your gallbladder or something useless.
I need
You'll
a
never
new
get
index.
gallstones.
So it's a reasonable sized city. So the circumstance modifier, I guess. Well, no, I guess this is sort of a civilized world, but it's not. Well, whatever. Okay. Um,
So,
I mean, I figure these are like
binders, just handcuffs.
cleaning supplies.
binders are handcuffs. Yes. When was the last time you watched episode 4?
Can I buy some bleach?
bleach?
Yes. You know, like cleaning products.
Why do you want bleach?
It's useful.
I guess you could buy some bleach.
We're not gonna go DayZ, are we?
Please no.
I might need to find
Binders.
I need to find a broom. I will be invincible.
All right, so Biggie, you go to the bazaar and you need to make a um, uh, call it a simple negotiation check.
Alright.
Normally, you don't have to make simple unopposed rolls, but just because you guys haven't really tried to do much shopping, I'm imposing this.
Simple negotiation. Let's invert over. High school is easy. We get what, huh?
Simple means it's on a, yeah, so you don't find stim packs, um, but you do find a wide assortment of bandages.
So you guys are gonna die, and I'm not gonna be able to help you.
We won't bleed to death.
I'm not gonna buy bandages.
Never mind. We'll bleed to death.
Why would
Just before I go to purchase it, I'm just gonna ask, what exactly does a spacesuit entail? Does it include the helmet and oxygen?
spacesuit? I think it includes all that. Let me just check. Uh, Spacesuit. Sealed, often lightly armored environmental suits worn to protect sentients from temperatures, extreme radiation, and the vacuums of deep space. They're designed for short operations and typically have enough water and atmospheric gas on board for 2 or 3 hours of constant operation.
Okay, so like 2 to 3 hours of oxygen.
Yep, and it says many variants also include a number of small multi-directional maneuvering thrusters. Built-in spotlights, comlinks, mag boots, power couplings for hand tools, and any number of other handy accessories. So is there any particular accessory you're looking for in a spacesuit?
I could be my own
I
flight
wouldn't
crew.
mind mag boots because I foresee flying off into the abyss as something I'd like to avoid.
Okay. So we've got a vote for mag boots spacesuit. Are you gonna just go around the bazaar looking for such thing?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that.
Make
What am I rolling?
an easy negotiation check. That's one purple.
Choose. So one purple you said.
Yes.
Click all.
So one purple is easy, medium would be 2, and hard would be 3.
Um, Average is 2, hard is 3, daunting is 4, formidable is
Can I
5.
find some? Can I
I think
find
you
him
find
some stim packs as well?
uh, no, but you can narrate how this goes because you did generate some threat there.
the kid tries to rob you.
I actually like that idea. Probably a terrible idea, but I am going to go with that.
Okay.
End up having to go to somewhere slightly more seedy to get my spacesuit for some reason.
Okay. So in the process of acquiring your spacesuit, some kid tries to make off with a number of your credits, and so how many credits do you have, by the way?
I have
Okay. So you were negotiating around the 100 credit range for the spacesuit, um, and suddenly you realize that as you're counting out your credits, that you're 100 credits short of where you thought you were, and you see a kid dashing out the door of the shop.
Just gonna sort of stare at the kid for a bit, and sort of think about running after him, and then just sort of sigh and turn back.
Um, the shopkeeper apologizes profusely, his head tendrils waggling as he shakes his head. Says, "This is terrible,
Kids want
terrible,
to eat.
terrible. I can't believe it." Says, I'll tell you what. Even go down to 90 credits.
Sounds like a deal.
All right. So you get your a nice spiffy mag booted spacesuit. Was anyone else trying to acquire something?
I'm just going to peruse for slaves. I doubt I'll find any, but I'm just perusing.
Slaves. Yes. Okay.
I
Uh,
will get one day.
well, this is a civilized imperial world. So hmm.
Maybe you get that kid.
Well, you can make a negotiation check as you peruse around.
So what's my difficulty level?
We'll call this one hard.
Nice.
So that's 3p.
I'm aware.
Okay.
We just talked about it.
All right. Okay. Well, you haven't alerted the authorities, but something else bad happens. Tell me what it is.
People no longer trust me around their shops. You're bad for business. Go elsewhere.
Okay. What was it that happened that caused them to mistrust you?
I quite blatantly asked if they sold slaves anywhere near here, and they just can't give me that look.
All right. You're suspected of being some kind of imperial agent, which okay. All right. Yep. So that works. Anyone else trying to get something? Vandry, you're good. Okay. Uh, why are you? Oh, never mind. It's random scrolling. Um, okay. So you guys are all geared up, and you're ready to board the transport. Is that correct?
As a random question, how tall is Zhao?
I believe I have her at 1 second. 5'2".
Okay, I'm just curious. And like, if I do have to go into space, can anyone else use the suit?
Hopefully not.
Probably not. I feel like 5'4" is not a heap taller than 5'2", but probably enough that the suit won't fit.
Oh, that would difference between those two isn't that bad.
Yeah, I think they make. I think in real life, NASA has just like
Small,
handful
medium,
of
and
size.
large.
Yeah.
Really? I thought they were tailored to each astronaut.
I would assume so.
I didn't think so.
Oh, I'm just talking out my ass, so I don't know.
Because they don't let people over a certain height go into space because they don't have spacesuits that fit them.
I think there's other reasons as well.
It's because they're mean,
They're tallest.
tallest.
So I enjoy the incorrect spelling.
Let's see.
It's like the combination of backwards or backwater. You kind of went halfway in between.
That's what happens when I listen to somebody talk and try and type at the same time.
That does.
You're also just a bad speller.
That is also true, and I make no apologies.
Okay, so the time comes to board the transport, and this thing is parked in the designated designated bay, if you will, and you're kind of off to the side in like a cargo area, and the lieutenant, the sort of the dock master, um, Lieutenant Hugh DeBrini, is if you will remember, is the one that you blackmailed your way into or bribed, or I forget which it
I
was.
think we scared him.
Oh, intimidated. That's right. You intimidated your way onto the transport. But this is the ISC Totale, and sort of it looks like the hunk of junk that it is, and you see basically just a bunch of Imperials, a lot of them out of uniform, kind of milling about, but you can sort of tell that they're Imperials because they're palling around with some in uniform Imperials.
It looks like a spaceship with a big crate attached to it.
That's more or less
Transport.
what it is. Yeah, it's a transport. So the the door, which is sort of that bump on the I think that's the starboard side of the
Moving around a bit.
yeah that has a door that folds down into a ramp, and so that's what people are loading or stepping into, and the cargo is actually getting loaded into the front part of the large crate, and it appears that the crew is moving back into sort of the grayish part of the ship.
Can I roll to fall asleep?
Roll to fall asleep. You can attempt to fall asleep, sure. So Zell is trying to snooze. Um,
Is that acting cool under pressure? I'm just sleeping.
it could be cool, yeah, if you want to roll that. And you guys are crammed sort of into these cubes that you really wouldn't want to be stuck in for many hours, but these are the cubic shape, and you can't stand up in them. You can't exactly lie down in them. You can sort of put your back flat and curl your knees up above you, or you can sit in sort of a similar position, and that's kind of the best that you can muster on short notice and for crates for yourselves. And whatever you decide to bring in to those crates with you, which is, so far it seems to be a spacesuit, some stim packs, and I'm assuming weapons and armor and such.
And some food and water because we don't know how long we're gonna have tea in here.
All right. So you get yourselves loaded into this spaceship, and there's a rumbling as the door begins to close. So it's sort of your final um, chance to get off of this thing if you so desire. But the and then there's sort of a low hum, and you can feel the ship shift and start to lift off out of the spaceport. It's getting clammy, and you've been waiting inside of these boxes for seems like hours and hours, and you get stiff necks all around. So everybody take a stress. And so you weren't clear on what part of the ship or when it was going to begin docking, but it's clear that you're underway now, and you're making your way probably well outside of the atmosphere of Onderon at this point.
So when do we want to cause trouble?
I'm thinking just, as he said, once we get out of the atmosphere, so probably soon.
You know, when the shaking from breaching atmosphere stops.
What?
Yep. So yeah, Zal, you would be pretty familiar with the turbulence that comes and the sudden, sort of release from atmosphere that comes from, piercing the upper atmosphere into more vacuum, and you'd be very familiar with all the little nuances of the hum of the ship, even if you're not super familiar with this make of ship.
I'd be a great ship pilot if I didn't. Don't think I would have passed.
Well, you are the ace, so
So I'm probably going to wait until I feel the calm right after the buzz, like you'd feel the vibrations. Like they probably have stabilizers and stuff so you wouldn't really feel shaky, but you'd feel like the hum of it, especially if you're close to the ground.
yep.
And she'd probably wait for that to stop before she'd try and pry the crate open.
Okay. So you attempt to pry the crate open, and you realize that somebody during the loading process appeared to have sealed the crate shut. Uh,
Now, are these wooden or metal?
so um, these are yeah, they're metal essentially, kind of plasticky really, but they're tough as
Glass, steel, whatever that word
plasteel.
is.
Yes, is the sort of the default thing
Go
for that.
to Vendry. You're the computer guy.
How do you
I
know
think you
that I
could
can't
open
get
it.
out? I didn't say anything about not getting out.
Are we all in the same crate or are we in our own individual crates?
You're in your own individual crates.
Perfect.
Well,
So I
this
knock on
guy
the
knows
side.
what
I knock on the side of it and say, "So who has one of those knife thingies that glow?"
A lightsaber?
No, no,
Vibrate
the
blade?
yes, that thing. And she kind of snaps her finger. That thing.
Did you bring a comlink with you? Do you have a comlink?
I have a comm link.
I do too.
Zal,
Yeah, we all do.
you do, Zal? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
Oh, I do. Yeah. Okay.
It says
You need to lie
radio
about that.
device. It says radio device.
okay.
It answers communicators.
Yeah, me too.
All
So
right.
a what? A vibro? A what? Vibro knife?
Yeah, that thing.
I
I have one of them.
also have a vibro knife.
Okay, so you see the cracks on
I'm just gonna
the
stab it.
stab near the cracks of where you push it open.
Okay, I got this.
Take our
Super
vibro
low.
knife and it's cracked. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Where are you guys getting these symbols and things? What is that?
The
But it's on
critical.
critical role.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sweet. Um, hmm, interesting. Okay. So, um, yeah, Vendry. It's going to be your melee skill unless you can think of something more applicable.
No, probably not.
You'd use mechanics to know where to
I
put it.
yeah. could, but I'm not
It just
really.
Application of a tool. So yeah, either one of those would work. And just for the
if
record,
you fail, just say where do I put this thing?
I moved a token over to the light side because this ceiling thing was not originally part of the plan. But
I just assumed it was the guy that we screwed over being angry.
sure. Oh, hey, I've got some music I can play. Let's see if this is.
How many P?
Oh, let me turn the volume down.
I was hoping for happy brass, but
Um,
that's what it is.
I don't even know what music this is. I picked it a long time ago. Um, which one are you using? Are you using melee or are you using mechanics? Um, it would be 2P. And this is a the vibro knife. You have one of those? What are the stats on that?
They are 3 damage. I don't know. It's
Pierce
a
2 and
Pierce
vicious.
2, Vicious 1.
So 3 damage, pierce 2, vicious 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you start to saw your way along one of the seams of the Durasteel crate that you're entombed in, and it you come up against some resistance, like there's a strap or something holding you in place, and you soldier on through that and cut right through it, and you realize that it was a strap and it was holding you sort of on the side of something, and you come crashing down to the deck plating, um, and not only does that make you fall to the ground and suffer. Well, since you rolled a threat, we'll call it a wound. So you suffer a wound, um, and the but it also makes a great racket in the cargo hold.
Fun.
Ow,
So
Chewie!
is no? Is everyone else still like? Are they all hanging as well?
All right, this music is not appropriate for this.
Okay.
Um,
Just trying to figure out why you wanted to
well,
set like
I thought it
put
might
you
be
in a
just
strange mood.
some fun space music, but it was totally not what I
I
anticipated.
was just testing this out to see what exactly this was, so ignore it, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Would I be able to attempt to use computers to horribly open the doors, seeing as I'm terrible with computers?
It's
Open
not a computer.
the Durasteel crate is mechanical in nature.
Oh,
So that yes, not computers. But yeah, so but
Technician.
because you did succeed and slice the thing open, you are able to push the crate or what's left of the crate off of you, and you're kind of lying there with a small head wound on the decking.
That was
Alright.
fun. Is everyone else hanging as well, or was I the only one?
You were the only one.
If
Uh,
I hear shit, can I try and get out as well since there's been a racket and
you do hear a bang. Yeah, do you have some kind of cutting implement?
I have a vibro knife as well.
Okay. Which skill will you be using?
I guess I'll use mechanics as well.
Okay.
2P.
Yep.
Also, I just realised what I could do. It may not work at all. Can I use perception to look for a latch to open it from the inside to see if there is some sort of mechanism,
Well,
just in case?
well, the thing is there was, but that release wasn't working because you're sealed in. Um, and Biggie apparently, um, well,
he opens it like a box.
yeah, I mean, you slice through it like there's with no problem. But I'm open to some secondary effects since you get 3 advantage, unless you want to pay it forward somehow.
Ooh. It's been a while since I worked at this disadvantage system.
It's you know you can figure there was some narrative element that I left out that might work to your favor, or
I happened to open up and find myself right across from a nicely labeled crate that might have something useful in it for an adventure.
perhaps as you were sawing through your crate to get out, you sliced through another crate and found something inside of it, which I will determine here really quickly.
Brand new car.
This is the Monty Hall portion of. Uh,
I just roll up on the speeder bike.
um,
Can we have the Breakfast Club theme song in the background while he does that? While he rides around the speeder?
One of those like little vertical hover
which,
combos that droids rode around on.
is that the "Don't you forget
Exactly.
about"? Okay. Uh, don't.
He just takes off with his fist in the air. That's all you hear after.
Um, well, if he's riding around on a speeder bike, though, I picture a really slow speeder bike, sort of like a big combine that he's riding on, and
Segway.
I picture it's like the tractor race uh, in Footloose, right? I need a hero. Um, uh, and inside you actually find um, it looks like there's a fusion, like 4 fusion cutters.
I thought you were about to say fusion cores. I was like, what the fuck?
I've been playing too much Fallout. That's right.
So you could open a few doors with those. And I'd rather be behind the door.
I mean, they're heavy, but they're certainly. Um,
Fusion cutter.
fusion cutters like a blowtorch on steroids.
Wait. So like a plasma cutter
Yeah,
in real life?
yeah. Let me get to the description here.
Those are kind of heavy.
It's encumbrance 2,
Oh,
which
not
which is not terrible. I mean, that's uh, yeah. I mean, that's like your slicer gear. So
that's like something you need to put in a backpack.
yeah. Um, let me see if I can find it here.
Ooh, I found it. 197 is the page it's on.
Are you looking at Ages of Rebellion?
Yeah.
Good. Um, yeah. So yeah, it can cut through Durasteel, Duraplast, armored ship hulls with ease. Um, field mechanics carry them into battle for emergency repairs, etc. So
I'm useful to you.
yeah, the portable cutting torches. So you found some of those in your um, as you were. Unfortunately, you cut through one of them, but there are still 4 functioning ones inside of the crate.
No, they make a mean melee weapon too.
Do they?
Well, you're shooting
Yeah.
people with fusion.
Has a range of engage, deals 5 damage, has a critical rating of 3, and possesses breach 1, burn 3, sunder, and vicious 3 weapon qualities.
Jeez, what have I done?
Jeez, torch.
All right,
Gonna
so
hurdle it.
I let them know that I found some
Hey,
some
they're
jobs.
they're especially common on astromech droids.
Hmm.
Biggie is now an astromech.
I, I suppose
Somebody
I
let
found
me
fully droid installable.
All right. So
We got some duct tape.
does anybody else have a vibro weapon that they wish to use to pry themselves out?
I'm
Well,
gonna go around
FYI.
opening every single crate.
Well, Vendry, while you're start standing to move and open up another crate, uh, some someone you can just hear them darkening the doorway essentially and looking into the cargo hold.
I flip a fish onto the ground.
that, that's a great description. Um, um, are you gonna do that with any sort of skill check, or are you just gonna just do the flopping?
I mean, do I have to?
I mean,
My,
no, you don't.
my stealth is pretty good, so I'll do that.
Okay.
The question is, do you turn off your torch?
No, I just shoot it into the sky.
It's like he had a heart attack and just keeled over and died.
Yeah, exactly. Is that 1P, 2P, 3P, 7P?
So you're trying to flop like a fish stealthily to the ground.
Yes, because I don't want them to
You're
see me.
you're flopping like a
Come on,
stealthful
Ziggy.
fish, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Do what?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm
um.
but I'm asking Ziggy what's going on out there.
All right. I gotta check the bad guy here.
Will respond to my internal combo.
He has
Careful.
perception of
Eliminate.
um, -3. I couldn't think of a funny animal to say.
A sloth, perhaps. Those are funny.
They do nothing but look at stuff. So
It's 2P.
So what is he doing? Pretending to be dead?
Pretty much.
well, I'm trying to like, because there's probably other crates around, right? So just kind of want to not be seen
Okay.
as easily.
All right. So he clearly sees you, and he sees the droid behind you. Um, a- and but somehow this might work to your advantage. Tell me how.
Um, so I'm just like, hit the ground like, oh shit, and then I like stand up quick, and I'm like, oh fucking crates, man. Oh hey, I was just checking on the cargo and brought my droid along. Hi, what's up?
He looks at you. He's like, "Are you bleeding from the head?"
Yeah, I felt pretty bad.
He's like, "You're a Duros, right? What are you doing on an Imperial ship?"
Man, they've started expanding their what am I looking for?
Recruitment.
Yeah, they're trying to be they're trying to appeal to everyone now. So that's why I'm here.
He's like, "Yeah, but we just like invaded your planet like 3 cycles ago. I mean, that
Yeah, man, but I'm pretty chill about the whole thing. It's no big deal. I forget.
Okay, so make a negotiation check.
Okay.
Um,
Labor ready. You're from labor ready.
and that is against okay, 1P, but um,
Oh, kind of.
okay, so he believes you,
Ziggy's so
um,
confident.
but he thinks you require medical attention, and he's going to take you away. He's like, hey man, uh, oh that is great news that Duros are coming around to our cause because really, we got a lot of great stuff going on, and frankly, we're gonna win this war. So I mean, it's really a good side to be on. But Hey, let's get your head looked at. Come on, let's and like he moves to like slip his arm under yours and like move you out of the cargo area.
I mean, this droid has a couple, like, I'm sure he can look at me, right?
I hold up a
This
fusion
is where
cutter.
Biggie becomes an asshole. Is like, I am just a worker droid.
You hold up a fusion cutter and
I don't give any verbal
Never
orders.
mind, man.
it's like,
You beep at him.
is he malfunctioning?
No, I guess he's not a medical droid. I think he just cuts stuff.
I chirp in binary.
uh, he's like, yeah, let's get you some medical attention. And like he moves to like drag you pretty much out of the cargo hold.
Is he paying attention to me anymore?
No, I mean you're just a droid.
Can I just walk up behind him and fusion cutter the back of his head?
Yeah. Make a stealth check.
Oh my god. So I don't know why I'm a Duros from California now.
No, I mean, well, I don't know why that stormtrooper was either. So,
Yeah.
um, okay, yeah. So you fusion cutter the back of back of his head. So,
Holy shit.
so suddenly the guy that was trying to support you goes limp and pretty much drags you down to the floor with a clatter. But you know that's all good. I'm taking a dark side point back. Thanks.
Oh my god.
You just lost your one light side point.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
I'm picturing like No Country for Old Men, right?
Just
So you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Now we just have to hope that somebody doesn't walk into the room again immediately.
I just flopped like a fish again,
Well,
like last time.
at least the wound is cauterized, right? So okay.
So is the back of his stormtrooper helmet?
Oh,
Is he wearing the?
no, he was in his sort of like a casual, not casual, but like it's like he wasn't in stormtrooper armor.
Oh,
He
that
wasn't
sucks.
he wasn't in his laminate armor,
Okay.
He is a dock worker, basically.
which actually fetches a pretty penny on the black market, by the way. If you
Yeah, I was actually gonna just take it.
Don't we have like a shit ton of them?
you do,
Yeah. Well, what if we get an army and we need some armor?
it's a good point.
Alright, so we should probably find those other crates before anyone else wanders in here.
Probably. Okay, so yeah, I just start smacking at the crates.
Seeing which ones rumble around.
I
Yeah.
I guess I'll probably do the same. Start thumping from the inside.
yeah. Could you tap on your crates, please?
I start picking it.
Not too loudly.
All right. Yep. So you locate the other two.
Actually, I'm gonna put that stormtrooper back in my crate.
Probably a good
Sound
plan.
plan.
And then
Seal it back up.
yeah, try anyway. I mean,
No
it did
fusion
fall.
cutter, just weld it closed.
I'm
True.
I'm picturing Vendry like starting like pushing the guy in and like trying to close the side of the crate and like a foot flops out and so he pushes the foot back in and tries to close the crate and then like a hand flops out.
It's clever of you.
Finally, Biggie comes over and like cuts a hand off and throws the hand into the crate.
Slice in half.
But we're the good guys, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's-
Let's clean this up before we get the other guys out. Actually,
hey, you're working for the rebellion or resistance
not
or
really.
whatever. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So everybody gets out into the cargo hold, and by the dim light of things and the lack of klaxon alarm, you seem to have found yourselves in a situation where you're not, you know, raising the alarm. Let's say, you seem to be okay.
Just as we get out. What happened to the stormtrooper you were talking to? I can't see him around.
Oh, he's okay. He's fine. Taking a nap.
There's just like a box that's clearly been cut up with just like a hand on it.
Yeah, no, that was there when we got here.
We relay shipment of hands.
It's fine. It's a new thing that the Imperials are doing.
I hand out the fusion cutters. Separately.
These come in handy.
So how many do we have? Like one for each, or enough for one for each, or just you?
So we
We have
have
four.
4.
Yeah, that's enough for each of you, which was unintentional, but that's the way I narrated it. So there we go.
Perfect. It's like there was a story or something.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are part of like the four part of the cargo hold. There's a lot of boxes and stuff, but the hatch to like the main rest of the ship is where that guy came from, and so like up here is sort of the entrance to the rest of the ship, and it's closed right now.
I guess we should start making our way.
Yeah, but I feel like we shouldn't just fusion cut our way through.
We could try just open the door.
This is a good idea.
This is the advantage of not being on lockdown.
Yeah.
All right, before you guys do that, let's take a quick bio break. I'm gonna grab another drink, and because I definitely need it, and
Yeah.
we'll come back in just a couple minutes.
Alright. Sounds good.
Epic.
I DC every fucking game. Hello? Hello.
Hello.
Finally. I couldn't hear you guys.
Wow.
I thought when I got disconnected, I just cut my sound for some reason.
Hmm.
But have you noticed it happens at least once every game I've played with you guys?
Yeah, we didn't even get the game off the ground last time, and it happened. So
Wait, what?
we tried to play last night.
Oh,
Technical difficulties prevented it, but it's all right. I'm glad we could get all four of you together tonight.
Okay, so what are we doing?
I think we're waiting on the other two.
Oh, bio break then.
Oh, yes,
What's up?
grabbing drinks and etc.
I mean, I grabbed a drink that's probably gonna make me die when I hit 40. It's an energy drink. I mean, I've already
you figure each one of those is maybe a day off your life. So
Yeah,
that's just
it's not too bad.
yeah, it's just a couple of years. You know, you're okay.
Yeah, no biggie.
Well, I mean, if you have one every day, that halves your remaining lifespan.
I guess that's true.
It's a valid point.
Like a
I'm
math
happy with.
point.
Oh, you doing the robot thing, Biggie?
A robot thing?
Oh,
Being in character.
Oh,
yes. Um, I think I've
I'm doing something.
posted maybe prior episodes where you're doing that. You should go back and listen.
Is it
Oh my
still
god.
going on?
No, you're good.
I fixed it.
Oh,
You know how cans have like little tabs that you pull them open with?
Yeah.
Like I just snapped it in half trying to open it.
Tough can.
Way to go.
Don't know how I did that.
A little poorly.
Really sharp.
We still missing Dom.
I'm back.
Dom is back. Yay, Dom. Yeah. So I've got so fantasynamegenerators.com is an excellent source of
It really is.
Top
amazing things.
class right there.
But I'm looking at the spaceship name generator, which is where I get the totale from, and like 95% of the names are way too grand for a local transport. Even the totale, I think, is a little grand.
A little bit.
Um, well, so they just came up with the Tennessee, the Troy, the Inquisitor, the Ohio,
The Inquisitor.
the Syracuse, the Praetor, the Kraken, the Vagabond. So the
Kraken
Vagabond,
looks like a vagabond.
yeah, the Vagabond would work. The Bandit and the Shooting Star. So I mean, they I just re-rolled again. The Little Rascal or the Sandra. So at least they've got a couple mixed in there that might work.
Which one are you using?
It's the spaceship name generator.
The only one I can say is Space Fleet.
Um, I'm not sure which heading it's under. Um, yeah,
Search it in the shitty built-in search.
Just Google
yeah,
spaceship
yeah.
name generator.
I googled spaceship name generator.
Valid. We're not a bad person. The Agamemnon.
That's a pretty good one.
Arthas. The Invincible.
The Condor. Can I say that if the ship had been called the Inquisitor, I probably would have been very suspicious about sending on it.
Yeah.
Kind of later.
Maybe we don't lock ourselves in crates when entering the Inquisitor.
SS You Wish Upon a Star.
Mm, that's a little,
It's a little fruity for this.
yeah.
Ooh, here's one.
Second
SS
star to the left and
Earthbreaker.
straight on till morning.
SS Earthbreaker.
The Big
Earthbreaker.
Mama.
Is
That
that a Peter Pan reference?
it was yes, but it's also a Star Trek 6 reference.
I also
I
got the
can't
wish
actually
upon a
pronounce
star.
this.
Did anybody ever even watch that?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar.
See it spelled.
Yeah.
Um, anybody watch 6? Star Trek 6?
Yeah.
That's the best one. It's well, it's an even numbered Trek movie, so obviously it doesn't suck.
I don't watch the movies, so
Um, I would recommend watching 6 if like you have any reverence for old Trek. Um,
I don't. My
I,
favorite Janeway.
oh my God,
Voyager?
there's no saving you.
Voyager, I like Deep Space Nine, so yeah.
Hated Deep Space Nine.
Um, I,
I just like the different take they made on that one instead of being out in
I couldn't stomach early Deep Space Nine, and I hear it gets a lot better, but I just can't get to the point where it tips over and it's like really good. Um,
Just
It could be really bad and just skip it.
Deep Space Nine is decent, but it's different at the same time.
yeah, I hear it gets really good later, but like I just couldn't get into it. But Voyager, I think, is pretty universally categorized as poor.
No, Voyager is people tend to either like Next Generation or Voyager.
A lot of
So
the time they didn't like Voyager because, girl captain. She still gets a lot of shit.
Oh, I love Janeway. Don't get me wrong, um, but I just I don't know. Harry
Voyager
Kim and
is
Ensign Rowe and yeah,
I was like 10 when I watched it. I absolutely
Ensign
loved it.
Ensign Rowe was on Next Generation.
she was on she was on Next Generation, and wasn't she on DS9 as well?
A little bit maybe. I think she might have had one guest appearance
Well,
before that, but
she's part of the yeah, she's a Bajoran, right? So um, she was part of what, the Tal Shiar? Is that the
that's the Romulan
oh, that's the
resistance.
Romulan thing, right? She was part of the other resistance thing.
I think what we
So,
can all agree on though is that Voyager is better than Enterprise.
That's true.
Everything was better than Enterprise, really.
Um, there's if you want to watch Enterprise, it's like watching there's like a series of episodes you can watch. It's like 30 episodes over the course of all of the seasons, that makes up a pretty good
Yeah.
watch list for that
Like
show.
half of them are decent, and then half of them are like official fan fiction.
They're utter crap. But anyways, six is I think one of the best Trek movies. I love First Contact. I like the new Trek movies, and I like six. So if you like First Contact or the new Trek movies, you should watch it.
I don't know if I've ever seen six.
It's sort of like at some points it's like a submarine like movie in space. Um, it's also got a little bit of political intrigue, and it's about trying to make peace with the Klingons after all these years. Um, it's got Worf's grandfather in it, or Worf's father, or something, played by Michael Dorn. Um, and yeah, I mean it's really good. So um,
Sounds
the undiscovered country. But anyways, so you were speaking of the undiscovered country. We're looking at a very small map of a very small ship that you were about to um, enter the undiscovered portion of. So moving back into the main cabin of the ship, how are you kind of aligning yourselves around the door?
I'm just gonna be drinking a jammer in the corner looking at boxes.
So
You're
so
you
not
in
you're drinking a
in
jammer?
Yes, I got tropical punch juice jammers, and now I'm incorporating it into my character.
Wait, okay. I don't even know what that is.
Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid. It's like not the juice box. They're like juice boxes instead of being the harder boxes. They're like, oh, how do you describe it?
It's like a foil pouch, but like the foil is like reinforced with plastic so it doesn't rip. It's basically sugar,
It's like a
whatever
Capri
you want to
Sun.
call it. Kind of, but like not.
Kool-Aid instead. Delicious.
Okay.
so who is it that got the spacesuit?
hmm.
The only smart one.
I mean, I'm a droid. I don't care if I'm exposed to hard vacuum.
It's true.
That's exactly what it is.
Because I was thinking we could go around the outside and flank them, enter in through the front window.
Hmm. Do we have anything that would break a starship window?
I hold up the fusion putty.
Does that work without oxygen?
It's
It should.
fusion.
mind, you plan on doing that while we, without spacesuits, are still in the room.
In a different room.
I don't see the problem.
You know I can
Heroes
always
don't need
throw
it.
you out of the airlock.
Says the diplomat. I don't see the problem. Oh, I'm sorry. She's an instigator.
Duros
That's
don't
exactly
need
what they'd
oxygen,
say.
right, Matt?
Hmm?
Duros don't need oxygen.
No, I hear they need extra oxygen. Is what I read.
Well,
Yeah.
you're incorrect.
They don't need oxygen, but they don't deal well in absolute zero.
I
Uh,
mean, like, they
It,
don't know we're here. We could just have the two of us go around the outside of the ship and poke a couple holes in the cockpit.
I think oxygen is irrelevant when your blood is beginning to literally boil due to lack of pressure.
No.
But honestly, we probably should just go through the normal way.
I'll just squeeze. I'll just flex really hard.
Put two people in one suit.
That'll work. And then someone has
Someone
to
else.
hide inside Biggie.
I will. I'll hide it inside your Biggie.
You've always wanted a compartment large enough to hide a small human inside.
It's like being pregnant.
Oh, it's
If we
disturbing.
all meet Piggy.
That's disturbing.
That's exactly what being pregnant is like.
This is my meat baby.
Jesus.
Oh, why am I friends with you guys?
You're not.
So do we open the door?
Actually, I know the reason.
It's true. Uh,
We enable you.
well, so I was the question was, how are you arraying yourselves around the door?
I have
And
room in
then
front of it.
that led to a discussion of do we depressurize the cargo hold that we're in,
No.
killing half of the members of our party.
That's the only logical way to proceed.
I'm just looking at more crates near where we were. There's like a whole bunch of crates for useful things. That's what
gonna
I'm
stay.
doing.
It's largely a corn and fusion cutter transport.
Corn infusion cutters. Yes, that's what they're.
Good mix.
See,
They're making lots of popcorn.
see, you're searching other crates.
Yeah.
Okay. You do
Well,
find,
I'm already breaking laws, so why the hell not?
yeah, you find. Speaking of corn, you do find quite a few rations scattered around inside some of the crates. Some of it is like rations that are essentially just sealed plastic tubes of water.
Give these to small, hungry children.
Sure. Yeah, that
They'll laugh at the disgust on their face when they eat them.
Okay.
seems like a
That's strange.
oddly specific and perverted plan. Um,
You don't know me. You don't know my story.
Is she gonna start putting the drugs that they've been making and put them in them?
yeah, Biggie's going to inject experimental pharmaceuticals
Or do you think I want
into
to
the
feed them to
rations.
the children? Or
But
do you
yeah,
think I want to feed them to the children?
I mean,
The
I don't,
kindness of my heart?
Because you're a sucker for children.
no, I need test subjects. Okay,
Well, my other characters are.
all right.
Right, so
So that's what you find, and then you find parts for who knows what. You're not a
I'm
mechanical.
a mechanic,
You,
actually.
yeah, but I mean, it's parts for something that isn't a spaceship. So
Oh, okay.
So I assume at this point, me and someone else are kind of right at the door in case someone comes in.
Yeah, I'm at
to-
the door.
well, Zal
eliminate all of them.
ransacks the cargo bay. Okay, rations scattered across the floor. You find a crate full of clips.
You
like E-clips for put stuffing into weapons.
Oh,
You don't know what kind of weapons because most blasters, you charge them up and they're good for days. But
the question is, are they clips or magazines?
clips or magazines, I
These are the questions we must ask.
yeah.
Is there a metal thing around the ammunition or not?
It's actually a magazine. Yes.
Thank you. Everything's better with the patterns around.
Jerk holes. I don't know why we're friends.
I told you already.
We enable you to drink.
It's true. It's true. You're the one escape I have from my horrible, horrible family.
Exactly.
Okay.
Should have said that loud enough so that everyone in your house could hear you.
My wife is in the next room. She could probably hear me.
Yeah, but
should
you
yell
can't
it
wake your
again.
children up first.
Horrible, horrible family.
Well, only one of them might understand me, and he'd probably think I was joking. So he'd be like, "Why are you waking me up?"
Just wanted to let you know how horrible you are.
It's like,
Oh, thanks.
okay, Daddy, I'm sleepy. That's what he would say. Um, okay, so you breach the door. How?
We have those tools.
Wait, no, we don't.
We're,
We don't want to fusion cut the door off.
we're just trying to
One,
open it at
it
this
might
point.
just open, and
Yeah, we're just
two,
trying to
don't we
push
still
the
have
button.
all those stun grenades?
I do.
Stun grenades. That's right.
I think Des may have some actual frag grenades.
I don't know what I have. Just give me a second.
I don't know how wise it is to use them inside of a starship, but
Oh,
we
you
have them.
I've got one left.
That's just in case we have to enact the no oxygen plan.
Oh, I was thinking we just
That sounds like the worst kind of plan.
breach, bang, and clear.
So I'm fine. I've got a suit that'll have like 3 hours of oxygen, and then I'll suffocate.
But you have little baby thrusters, which means you can fly away.
You
I'll
can just
fly back through the atmosphere.
just manually re-enter the atmosphere.
Yeah, no big deal. Just
If I learned anything from early versions of Kerbal Space Program, that'd be fine.
yeah, the heat
I
does
can get all
nothing.
your corpses as shields.
Actually, er,
Not updated.
yeah. It's a funny thing you mentioned Kerbal Space Program.
Are we gonna play, or are we just gonna keep talking about other games?
Where-
It's a good game.
It is a good game. I mean, oh, fine.
Is there a button to open the door?
Yes.
Press this button.
Okay. So, you open the door, and it just so happens that there are two men standing on the other side about to open the door.
Hey
And
guys.
they're in Imperial uniforms. Looks like enlisted sort of stormtrooper type uniforms, but they're not in laminate armor. And they look a little surprised to see an array of faces on the other side of this door.
We also look a little surprised.
Yeah. What are you guys doing here?
We came to look for Max.
Max? Who's Max?
What's a max?
All right, one of them moves to draw his blaster pistol from his hip.
You
Oh,
couldn't
seriously,
make
I'm
up a
very
better
confused right
lie.
now. I'm very confused. Who's Max? I haven't seen a Max.
Is this what honestly what Vendry is saying?
This is honestly what Vengeance is.